السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد، إن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله عز وجل وأحسن هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة في الإسلام بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to Allah Azza wa Jal, wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen, and any result is for the believers. Alhamdulillah, 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 that we fasted the blessed month of Ramadan. Now, bi'idhnillah, it's time for a reality check. Wallah alhamd, all praise due to Allah that we're able to fast Ramadan. We're able to give the amounts of sadaqat. We're able to feed and break bread Muslim brothers during the blessed month of Ramadan. Wallah alhamd. Now that we're all back down to earth, it's very important for us to put our mindset in check, because we have to know that the shaitan, our aduwwun mubin, our clear, avowed enemy, is on the attack. Wallah alhamd, all of us were staying up late during the night and praying and fasting during the day and the night and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for many things. Wallah alhamd. And I ask Allah, As'Allah al-Azim, Rabb al-Arsh Kareem. I ask Allah, the mighty and majestic, the Lord of the glorious throne, that He grants all of us all of our requests. Allahumma ameen. So, now that we're at this point in our lives, after fasting the blessed month of Ramadan and giving the amounts of sadaqat and zakat and so on and so forth, and itma'inna, being hopeful that Allah Azza wa Jal will accept from us our amal salih. Now that we're at this point in our lives, we have to be on the lookout over ourselves. More importantly, not the shaitan, because we know that he is aduun mubin. He's a clear, open, avowed enemy. But we have to be on lookout over ourselves. Why I say this is because we all are hopeful that Allah Azza wa Jal will accept from us our amal salih and accept from us our requests, our supplications, our treaties, all what we ask for in the blessed month of Ramadan. But this, my dear Salam Iman, requires us to have tawakkul. We have to have trust in Allah Azza wa Jal's plan over us. We must have tawakkul ala wakil. We must trust that Allah Azza wa Jal's plan is the best and is the most appropriate, and the timing is always right. We have to have that because we speak a lot about the importance of having iman and polishing our faith, but rarely do we speak about the driving force behind our iman, which is having true reliance on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this word or this rich Arabic phrase, tawakkul, comes from wakala or wakil, to have a dependence or reliance on something. For example, what Allah Azza wa Jalla says when he's speaking to Musa alayhi salam at the burning bush, he asked him a question. وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا مُوسَى? What is that in your right hand? Musa alayhi salam, he answers Allah by saying, قال هي عصاي يتوكل عليها. He said, that is my staff that I lean on. So for us to have reliance on Allah Azza wa Jal, it's going to take courage. And another very practical example is when the man came to the Prophet ﷺ and he said, Ya Rasulullah, should I tie my camel or tawakkal ala Allah? The Prophet ﷺ, he said very practically to this man, Akulha wa tawakkal. Tie your camel and then put your trust in Allah Tabarak Ta'ala. So Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, we all made petitions. We were all begging Allah while we were fasting and giving charity, because we understood that the Salaf, when they expected and they wanted Allah Azza wa Jal to accept from them their dua, they would do a lot of good before asking from Allah. Before petitioning Allah, they would give a lot of sadaqat before asking from Allah. And then while asking from Allah, they would give charity. And after asking from Allah, they would give charity. So as to expedite their request, while we're fasting and praying and giving charity, we were ever hopeful that Allah Azza wa Jal would accept from us. But we have to have the tawakkul. And not just that, but before that, we have to make an effort. We cannot have blind faith. Before trusting in Allah, we have to aqilha wa tawakkul, as the Prophet said. We have to make our effort. We have to, as they say, put our best foot forward. We cannot be a student in school and not study and just hope that we're going to get good marks on our examination. We cannot hope to pass a driving test or any other examination in this life and we're not going to make an effort to study and study hard. And then we put our trust in Allah Ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jalla says, وَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ وَكِيلًا. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He reminds the believers that we should have reliance on Allah. And Allah is enough for us to rely upon. But we must put our best foot forward. We must make an effort. As Umar ibn Khattab, he has stated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Lo tuwakkalna ala Allah, haqqa tawakkali." If we were to rely on Allah with true reliance, then Allah Azza wa Jal, He would provide for us like He would provide for the birds. How? They would leave out of their nest in the morning with an empty stomach and come back in the evening with their bellies full. Effort is required on our part. We have to make whatever effort we have with the means that Allah has allotted us with, And then we should put our reliance on Allah Ta'ala. This is just a basic framework that we have to have as believers. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, those of us who are alive and we were well and able to fast and give sadaqat and break bread with our brothers in the blessed month of Ramadan was a ni'mah, was a blessing in and of itself. But now that we're outside of Ramadan and our clear avowed enemy, Shaitan, he is out to get us, we have to be more so diligently looking over ourselves to make sure that our mindset is in the right place, that we have the right mindset, we have the right ideology. We cannot just go back to our old ways and expect Al-Wakil to take care of our needs. No. Allah Azza wa Jal had mentioned that having tawakkul, trust in Him, is a characteristic that is beloved to Him Azza wa Jal. Allah Azza wa Jal says, "Inna Allah yuhibbul mutawakkilin." Allah loves those who rely on Him. Allah Azza wa Jal says, وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَلْيَتَوَكَّلِ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal says that we should put our reliance and trust on Him if we are believers. There's another very excellent example in the Quran that I want us to pay close attention to and understand very well. It's in Surah Al-Imran, ayat number 173, where Allah Azza wa Jal, Khatam lil-Mu'mineen, speaking to the believers, He said, الَّذِينَ قَالَ لَهُمُ النَّاسِ إِنَّ النَّاسَ قَدْ جَمَعَ لَكُمْ فَاخْشَوْهُمْ فَزَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا فَقَالُوا حَسْبُنَا اللَّهُ وَنِعْمَ الْوَكِيلُ. Those who said that the people have gathered a large enemy against you, to attack you, to wipe out Islam, فَاخْشَوْهُمْ. So you should be afraid of them. As a result, فَزَادَتْهُمْ إِيمَانًا, their iman increased. And what did they say? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal waqil. Ibn Abbas, the Mufassir of this ummah, radhiyallahu anhuma, he said regarding this verse, this statement of the believers, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal waqil. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said this statement when they threw him into the fire. When they took him and they threw him into the fire, what was his them? What was his sin? He was calling his father and his people to Tawheed, to the oneness of Allah. Ibrahim alayhi salam kana ummah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says. And Allah Azza wa Jalla blessed him with rushd, right-mindedness. And he was a person who was a ummah, a nation in and of himself. And he called his people to the right guidance. And what did they do? They threw him into the fire. And he knew that he was on the right path. So he said, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal waqil. Allah is sufficient for me as a reliance, as someone to rely upon. And Ibn Abbas said that, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said this, and the believers said this, when they said that there's a large army that's assembled that is coming to wipe out the light of Islam. And they said, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal waqil. First and foremost, their iman increased. Their iman increased. And they said, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal waqil. We shouldn't have any fear in our hearts. We should not be overcome with any type of grief if we are practicing Muslims. Nowadays, many people are getting depressed. They're getting suicidal if they become unfriended or unliked on their social media page. And they fight for friends and they fight for likes and they try and defend themselves. But very few of us are right-minded enough to understand that if we have made a concerted effort, we put our best foot forward, then there isn't anything that we have to worry about. We know that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Aqilha wa tawakkal." Tie your camel. Tie your camel, which means, as believers, we need to pray. We need to fast. We need to be in a habit of always giving charity. And then, if we have an exam, we don't try and study at the last minute. We should have taken time to review our notes. if we're a good student, then we would have been taking notes during the class. And then when it comes exam time, all we have to do is review our notes and we will be milifa'izin. We'll have an A or A plus. We'll have a top mark. But we can't fail and then say, oh, I studied and, qadr Allah. We cannot blame our bad results on the qadr of Allah. Once, in the time of the Prophet, in the time of Umar ibn Khattab, a man he stole. And when Umar ibn Khattab was going to cut off his hand, which is the Hajj Shari'i, in the land of Islam, the man said, wait, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, my stealing was the qadr of Allah. And Umar ibn Khattab, he said, yes, and our Hajj Shari'i is also from the qadr of Allah. So we cannot be a person who tries to play games and say, oh, qadr Allah, why this happened, qadr Allah, why that happens, and we didn't make any effort. When we make an effort by putting our best foot forward, by tying our camel, then we should have good hopes and aspirations in Allah Ta'ala. We cannot be lazy. We cannot be lazy and just sit back and say, you know what? I fasted Ramadan this year, alhamdulillah. I fasted the whole 29 or 30 days. And now when Ramadan is over, we don't do anything. We don't pray even. Many Muslims, they are like Abdul Ramadan. They only come to the masjid during the month of Ramadan. And you have Muslims who only come on the 27th or the 26th. They want to knock off 100 rakat and then they say, that's it, khalas. I'm going to be okay for the rest of the year. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. As I mentioned, my dear Salam Iman, for us to have tawakkul, it requires courage on our part. We have to have courage in Allah Azza wa Jal, in Allah's plan over us. That Allah Azza wa Jal, our wakil, will always determine the best thing for us. And He, our wakil, has the best thing already planned and arranged for us. The point is, my dear Salam Iman, is that we have to do our part. There's another very important verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 186, that I want us to go home and read about and understand the tafsir of this ayat. Allah says in Surah Al-Baqarah, ayat number 186, إِذَا سَأَلَكَ إِبَادِي عَنِّي فِإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ وَأُجِيبُ دَعْوَاتَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّكُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. Allah says to us very explicitly, clearly, when my servant asks you about me, meaning Allah Azza wa Jal, tell him that I am near and I answer the supplicant, the request, the petition of those who call on me. But there's a condition. There's a condition to this. We want Allah Azza wa Jal to answer our calls, our pleas, our requests. Allah Azza wa Jal says, فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّكُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. But we must first and foremost answer the call of Allah Ta'ala. Allah Azza wa Jal says that He is close, He is near, and He is ready to accept our calls, our petitions, our requests. But there's a condition to this. There is a condition that is directly tied to this, is that we respond to Allah Ta'ala first, and that we believe on Allah Azza wa Jal first. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He will set our affairs straight. When we believe that we are not on the right path, or Allah Azza wa Jal didn't give us exactly what we asked for, we have to have that firm belief, that faith, which takes courage. We have to have that faith in Allah Ta'ala, our wakil, that Allah Azza wa Jal, He is guiding me to the correct path. He's guiding me to that which is much better than what I have asked for. This, my dear Salam Iman, is the success formula. If we want to be successful inside and outside of Ramadan, then we have to pray, we have to fast, we have to give regular sadaqat, charity, on a regular basis. As Allah says, لَعَلَّكُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ, that perhaps we will be rightly guided. How is it that we can trust in Allah Azza wa Jal to set our affairs straight if we are dhul ma'asi, if we are sinful individuals. The Prophet ﷺ said, Kullu bani adam khata'un. That is correct. وَخَيْرُ قَطَعِينَ التَّوَّابِينَ. All of the sons and daughters of Adam, we make mistakes. But the best of those who are mistaken, they make tawbah. They regret and they turn back to Allah Azza wa Jal. We cannot be dhul ma'asi, a person who is involved in sinning recklessly, and then expect from Allah Ta'ala. This is why Umar ibn Khattab, he has stated, it's been narrated that he has stated, he says that I do not have any fear or qualms. I do not worry that Allah Azza wa Jal, He will not accept my dua. But I worry about what I'm asking for in my dua. I'm worried that I might be asking for the wrong thing in my dua. This, my dear Salam Iman, was the mentality of Ashab Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Sahaba, radhiyallahu anhum ajma'in, they were able to walk on water when they wanted to. There's narration that they were able to walk on water. There's a narration that the Prophet ﷺ, one day, he was walking on the Mount of Uhud with Abu Bakr, Umar, and Uthman, and the mountain shook. The Prophet ﷺ, he stamped his foot on the mountain, and he said, Uskut ya Uhud. Be quiet, be still, O Uhud. Upon you is a prophet, a Sadiq, and Shahidain, and 2 martyrs. The Prophet ﷺ and his companions, they were people who had this faith with practice. And we have them, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen, as an example to follow. All we have to do is look at their example and try and emulate their example, and then bi'idhnillah, we will be of those who are mutawakkilin. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of us and give all of us that what we ask for during the blessed month of Ramadan and outside of Ramadan. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us a tawfiq and the iman to be of those who are true mutawakkilin. Ameen, ameen, ameen. Bismillah, wa salatu salam ala Rasulullah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi man tabi huda wa ba'd. My dear brothers salam iman. Now that, for those who are coming late, just to recap, now that the blessed month of Ramadan is over, we need to pay attention to ourselves because the shaitan, he's out. And we should not be so much concerned about him, but we should be more concerned about our own nafs. Because Allah says, Inna nafs al-amaratun bisu, that the nafs is ever desirous of evil. So we have to be very watchful and vigilant over our nafs. We have to be watchful and vigilant over our nafs. We cannot allow our nafs to run wild and become out of control. Al-Wakil. We're speaking about a wakil. That we rely on. Like Musa alayhi salam used to rely and used to lean on his cane. And Hashu al-Ghanami. And used to shake the leaves to feed his sheep, his ghanam. We need to rely on a wakil, Allah, that He will set all of our affairs in order. And that our wakil, He will penetrate every stone and He will remove every obstacle so as to deliver us from darkness and to help us overcome whatever obstacle may be in our way. We have to understand that the way Ibrahim alayhi salam, the friend of Allah, the Khalil of Ar-Rahman, he understood that. He wasn't doing anything wrong. He was calling his father and his people to the oneness of Allah. And what did they do? They took him and they wanted to make a message to their people and a lesson for anybody and throw him into the fire. What did he say? Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. We have to understand, my dear Salam Iman, that nothing can happen to us except what Allah Azza wa Jal had already written for us. Allah Azza wa Jal, He has mentioned that in Surah Tawbah, ayat number 51, where He says, قل لن يصيبنا إلا ما كتب الله لنا هو مولانا وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون. Nothing, Allah says, telling the Prophet Muhammad to say to his companions or to whoever would listen, قل لن يصيبنا, nothing will ever affect us or afflict us except whatever Allah had already ordained for us. Huwa Maulana, He is our Maulana. So let the believers put their trust on Him. If we understand this, my dear Salami man, then we know that we cannot get drunk or high on the weekends or be kha'in, be a person who is deceitful in our dealings and our business, and then expect good from Allah Azza wa Jal. When we're in need from Allah Azza wa Jal, then we have to be a person who sticks to within the framework of the Sharia, what Allah Azza wa Jal tells us to do. And then, inshallah, we should be hopeful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our wakil, He will help us. He will help us in every way that we are hopeful in. The way we are praying and hopeful in the blessed month of Ramadan, outside of the blessed month of Ramadan, we have to continue praying and fasting and giving. We cannot do as much as we did in the month of Ramadan, but we can still continue this good effort. Remember, if we want Allah Azza wa Jal to answer us, then we have to answer His call first. فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّكُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. Allah Azza wa Jal says, we have to respond to His call first. And we have to believe in Allah first. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He will set us right. Another final point is that we shouldn't be hasty. We shouldn't be hasty. We prayed and we fasted and we gave in charity in the blessed month of Ramadan. And now Ramadan is over. We're sitting, we're waiting. When is these things going to come into fruition that we asked for, that we're expecting of Allah? When is it going to happen? We should not be hasty. We need to continue doing good work. We need to continue asking of Allah Azza wa Jal. Because if the answer is delayed, or it doesn't happen exactly the way that we had planned it or had asked Allah for, it does not mean that Allah did not accept our dua. We have to have that firm faith in Allah, that whatever we ask for, Allah Azza wa Jal, He had granted it for us. The answer of our dua may not be exactly what we asked for, but we have to have that faith that Allah Azza wa Jal, He answered our dua. If we are doing what Allah Azza wa Jal expects us to do, Allah Azza wa Jal, He will answer our dua in a time, in a manner which is most appropriate for us. So we just need to have faith. And to have faith, it takes courage. May Allah Azza wa Jal bless all of us. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us that real iman and that real faith, a real belief that a wakil is ever watchful over us. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us that strength outside of Ramadan so that we can carry on doing the good deeds that we're doing in Ramadan, and that we can continue to give, that we continue to pray, and we can continue to look for an opportunity to break bread with our Muslim brothers and sisters in Iman. Amin, amin, amin. Inna Allah wa malaikatu saluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. Kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad. كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وقم الصلاة.